Welcome to a brand new episode of The Murtz Show. I am thrilled. I am absolutely like a kid in a candy store for our guest this evening. I don't think, in the grand scheme of people that I like, of like reality stars that I want to interview, uh, tonight's guest is right up there with Boston Rob, Boston Rob, Boston Rob, and Boston Rob. It is Robyn Kass, the reason behind Boston Rob. So I'm very excited. I never actually thought we would get Robyn in here, and especially to discuss Big Brother Canada, which, only 2 or 3 years ago seemed like it was never going to happen. I thought it was going to be like Survivor. I don't think a Canadian Survivor is ever going to happen. But again, that's what I said about Canadian Big Brother, and here we are. I am very interested to see what you all think about the cast. I think that it's getting a lot of attention, specifically here in Canada, but also around the world. I think some of you that follow me on Twitter, that check out the stuff that I write on Inside Pulse, know that a very good friend of mine is on the show this season. Actually, the guy that I went to the open call with in front of Robyn, actually, I wasn't in Robyn's group, but he was. Anyway, is on the show, AJ Berman. He literally lives probably, 3 minutes away from me. And so I'm very invested in this season. I am going to be wholeheartedly, rooting for AJ. And I can't wait to see what you all think. With that being said, let's bring Robyn on and not waste any more time. She will give us a little bit of insight into what we can expect from these people. Robyn, welcome to the Murtz Show.
Am I supposed to do this now?
Yes, and you hold it for 3 seconds. Perfect.
Yay!
Perfect. All right, you're good. All right, Robyn. First of all, so excited to have you on the show. Beyond excited to have you on the show.
To be on the show.
So, Robyn, so much to talk about. I want to start with why this show, why this time, and I believe this is your first time casting a Canadian show of this proportion, right?
My first time, not only my first time casting a Canadian show, my first time, well, I was in Calgary one time a few years ago, but this was really my first experience in Canada, and I love it. I'm ready to move. I freaking love Canada.
Now, the thing is, I'm going to be very honest here, Robyn. Like, there's a knock against these Canadian shows, and even I, as a Canadian reality fan, have always felt like, why don't we just come up with our own shows, Why don't we do more reality obsessed, the greatest show in the history of the world? Why do we always have to do these, knockoff, let's do Canadian Idol, or let's do So You Think You Can Dance Canada, or let's do Are You Smarter Than a Canadian Fifth Grader? Is there something to be said for basically doing something that we know already works in the States?
Well, you remember, a lot of the shows that we have in the States are also formats from other countries also, from the UK, anywhere in Europe. I mean, it's not like we're the first of everything. Clearly, we weren't the first to do Big Brother here. And Survivor, I don't know. Were we the first to do Survivor over here?
No, I think it was no. Mm-mm.
Like Australia or something? I'm not sure. I actually don't know.
I think it was Switzerland. Anyway.
I mean, the thing about obviously about Big Brother Canada is the Big Brother US has such a huge diehard Canadian fan base. I mean, if there's the most probably popular question I get asked every year during casting is, I'm Canadian, can I apply? When can Canadians apply? When can we do this? We love the show. I mean, it's like, I do the same thing. I go to the network and say, when are we able to get Canadians on the show here? They're dying. They want to do it. I mean, going out there for the open calls, it was a world that I have never seen on any show that I've ever cast before. Of not only numbers, but love and passion for the show and excitement, and it's different, and it was amazing. I loved it so much.
I think that one of the knocks is that they never spend their money right in Canada when they do these shows. I always feel like they put a lot of money in sort of like the commercials, and they put a lot of money in the press, but really it boils down to the cast. Like, I don't care if you do Big Brother in my parents' house. If you have the right cast, it's going to be an interesting show. So I feel like they invested wisely here. You know, like why not bring in the person that's responsible for all these people that we see on the states? So do you feel like it was a big feather in your cap to be asked to do something like this?
I am. I'm so honored to be part of it. I'm not just saying this because this is in Canada. Um, it was, it was. I will tell you, it was a little bit mutual love of both of us. I knew that they were doing the first season of Big Brother. I wanted to be a part of it. I had sent an email to them. They had immediately called me back and said, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's try to make this work. Let's talk about this. Do we think it's possible? How
Yep.
do we make it
Yep.
work? It would be a dream come true." And so, I mean, I was equally as excited, if not more excited, to be part of it than and working with the production company on a show that I love.
Um, the thing that I'm always interested in, and this is not so much a question for the US versions of the show, but for a Canadian one, there's always this argument to do regional representation. You got to have somebody from the Yukon, and you got to have somebody from Newfoundland, and you got to have somebody from Toronto. How much of that had an influence on who you pick, or is it just really about, and what it should be about, is the best people? I don't care if it's 15 people from Toronto. If these are the people that are going to make the best show, then that's who it should be.
And that's the bottom line. And that's what I say every single year. Listen, there's no way possible for me to make all the fans happy, no matter what. I mean, I get feedback, I see it. One person thinks the cast is too pretty, another person thinks the cast is not pretty enough. One person says they're too old, one person says they're
Yep.
too young. Why are they from this area? I mean, what I try to do is make everyone happy at the beginning. We traveled all throughout Canada. We met thousands and thousands of people. And once it gets down to sort of the finals, it's just like you said. As much as I'd love to represent everybody, if there were two people to choose from, and one was an amazing gamer, great TV, great in diary room, fantastic,
Yep.
and one was like average and fine, but maybe not that much drama, maybe not that much a gamer, but from a different area. I'm going with the best. I'm going with the best personality. I'm going with the person who I think is going to play the game better. Yes, right now everybody's reading where people are from and why didn't you get this area and why didn't you get that area. But 1 week into the show, people are going to forget about where they're from and they're just going to want to watch
Exactly.
them play Big Brother. And I think that's the most important part, is getting the best people on the show.
Is it sort of like how much of an influence does it have, like, when you cast a show, you sort of have, all right, I'm putting these five on, these five are the ones that stood out in casting, these five are the ones that were like my favorites in finals, and then do you sort of cast the next five around who's going to make the first five better, or is it just like, I guess my question is, how much does chemistry between the house guests have to do with like who you put in there?
A lot, a lot. You know, it is sort of hard to explain, but I always say that casting a show like this is a giant puzzle. It's who fits together, who's better. And listen, we will have, cards with finals, whether, we did the same thing in Canada as we do here in the US. And yeah, we lay them out. We try to decide these people are going to get along. These people are not. We like this mix of people. And it might be like, this person
Yeah.
is my absolute favorite person, but I don't see where they fit in this year. I don't see, and I always talk about,
Yeah.
for anybody who's watching this, who watches the US version, people like Evil Dick and people like Frank from last year and Dan, some of the best players were people who I'd met previous
Yep.
times, who I loved, I wanted in the cast. It just wasn't right at that time, didn't feel right, the mix wasn't right. So as a whole, the chemistry and the way it works together has just as much to do with it as the individual personalities.
Do you get to a point where you're like comfortable now? Like, I mean, do you ever feel like you can reach a level of like comfort in your job? Because now I feel like it's Robyn Kass from casting. You can have a dud season of Big Brother, but all right, so maybe she had an off year that year. So do you ever feel comfortable, or are you always sort of like, oh my gosh, if Gary doesn't deliver, I'm done?
Wow. I mean, it's somewhere in the middle there. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, I'm never listen, I have days here where I am freaking out and my staff is freaking out and people bomb their interviews and I thought they were so great when I saw them in their semifinal interview, and then they come to finals and they're scared and they can't talk, and oh my gosh, Allison Grodner's in front of them and these are producers and cameras and lights, and it's me going, come on, man, please just be how we were when I was chatting with you, over dinner, please. And it's like they bomb, and once they bomb, like, it's done and it's scary. Do I think I'm going to lose my job over that? I mean, I hope not.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm ever at a place where I go, whatever. I mean, if they're good or bad, I'll be back next year. I mean, I don't have a contract that says I'm with Big Brother forever.
Right.
If I'm sure I'm always on the edge of my seat. I love the show, and also being a fan of the show, I want it to be great. It's not just a job to me. I'm a fan, I'm a viewer. I'm bummed at the same time the fans are bummed when things happen, when people don't play as hard as I want them to, floaters and stuff. I feel it as deeply as the fans do, and sometimes I'm bummed and sometimes I'm super excited at how people turn out. You never know what they're going to be like once you stick them in the house and they're with a group of people. There's no way for me to ultimately find out what they're going to be like.
Yeah, especially this season, because you're not even going to be able to watch the episodes live, and I feel like it's going to be very difficult for you when you've cast all these people, and yet you have no idea what's happening in the house. How did they do? Were they a casting dream? Were they a casting nightmare? So how are you going to get past that?
I don't know. I'm dealing with it right now. Like, really. I'm going through weird sort of withdrawals. The fact that I don't know everything that's happening over there. I mean, here, even if I'm not at the house, once I cast the show, I'm pretty much on to other projects and I just come back for eviction days.
Yeah.
But I also have Allison on instant messenger, and I'm talking to her and texting her, and she's telling me stuff, and I can visit anytime I want. If drama goes down, I can visit the house, I can go there. And here, I mean, I literally have agita just knowing that this is going on, that I have no attachment to it. I can't go there if there's a problem, and I'm definitely having anxiety over it. I mean, I sent emails to producers today, like, what's going on? And I know they're busy, and of course, I want them to talk to me and let me know what's going on. But I definitely, it's high anxiety for me. I want to be there.
Yeah, you're kind of acting like I did when I knew that Boston Rob was coming back for Redemption Island, and I had to wait that whole time when they were filming. That's what you're kind of reminding me of right now.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And I know I'll find out, and I'm hoping I get there for the finale. I hope I'll be able to be out there.
Well, that finale is going to be, I think, right in the thick of big finale season, right? Because it's going to be right in the middle.
We'll see, because I'm going to be right in the heart of Big Brother US casting, and I have dates, and I'm hoping I can figure it out. Even if it's a one-day trip, go there and come back, I'm really hoping that I can be there and see the cast afterwards. And I mean, if I can't, I can't, but I would, of course, I'd like to see all of them. I mean, I'm super attached to my cast, and I feel very motherly towards all of them, and I'm sad when people don't like them, and I'm happy when they get together and win prizes. So, I mean, I totally want to be there for the finale.
All right, enough preamble, Robyn. I wanna get into the nitty gritty here. I wanna know who's gonna do what. I want to know what you think of them all. We're obviously going to end with AJ, so why don't we start with, let's see. Tell me about...
I just want to say, though, to the people who are watching this, and Murtz knows this also, I just found out 2 days ago that AJ's a friend of yours. I had no idea. And if you guys...
We were at the open call. We were in the room together. It's just...
There were 8,000 people there. I'm sorry I don't remember every single person who was there.
I told you the story about how during my interview the guy was like, so why do you want to be on Big Brother? And I go, listen, let's get to business first. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I go, I want to be in her group. And I point to you and AJ's group. And he's like, why? And I go, listen, man. I go, we all know she's making the decisions, okay? I don't want some PA to do my casting interview. But that's another story for another day. I want to talk to you about Topaz. Tell me about Topaz. I'm from Scarborough. She's from Scarborough. Is she sweet? Is she really the sweet dental hygienist?
I mean, she's not tough on the eyes, huh? I mean, she's stunning. You know what's so funny is out here in the US, if a girl like that walks into an interview, hands down, 100%, she's a model, she's an actress. And I remember not only is she stunningly beautiful and well spoken, she's a freaking dental hygienist. Like she has a real job. And I mean, I love her. I don't, it's going to be interesting because in her interview, I think she is really sweet, really likable, really rootable. Mm-hmm. And I think that she doesn't realize how pretty she is, which is a great quality. I think listen, I think she knows she's pretty, but I don't think she understands how pretty she is. And it'll be interesting to see if she uses her looks to get further in the game. She is a little bit flirty. But she's not 21 years old. She's not a kid. Right. So I think, and she has some good life experience. She's been around the block. And I think that she's a little bit smarter than people are going to take her for. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes pretty far in the game.
Alrighty. Tom Plant. Now, my first impression of Tom Plant was, I was like, all right, I love Robyn, and I know Robyn always casts well. But this dude, I mean, his resume is that he's like a firefighter and a bartender. Okay, so that's like reality gold right there. That's just like, it doesn't even matter what he looks like. But the big thing about him that stood out to me was this like heavy Canadian accent. So I feel like, was he like the sort of the CanCon? We have a term where, we have to like Canadianize everything we do. And I feel like he's the Canadian guy that you had to put on.
Tom, I don't think so. I mean,
wait till he starts dropping the boot bombs. Okay, wait till he starts saying A. Okay.
You know what? I will tell you, through finals and meeting every single person who auditioned for Big Brother Canada, it was so difficult for me to not, I don't want to say make fun of, because I wasn't, but like when you hear people say a vote, in my head I say it back like, ha, 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 that's funny. This is the way he said it. Like, I had to refrain for, the entire time during casting and just get used to it that, like, maybe we are the ones who speak odd, not you guys.
No, a boot is weird, Robyn. A boot is weird. I'm Canadian and I can say that, all right? It's weird. It's weird. Tom.
I think Emmett is a little bit more like maybe stereotypical Canadian than Tom. I don't know.
It's the accent. It's the accent, Robyn. I can't get past his accent. That's all I can like hear. He's kind of like the, he has the Boston thing going on, except it's the Canadian version.
I'm interested to see how he sort of plays out, because when I watch the promos, I was put off by like the scarf he was wearing. Like I didn't see him as like a scarf wearer. And
Metro, yes.
So I'm surprised. Yes. I also think that, hey, I love that, because now people think he's one way, and I don't think he's a scarf wearer kind of guy anyway. I think he's like a no shirt kind of funny, cocky guy, not a scarf wearer. I don't know about
that's a very good point. You're right. I didn't, when you said it, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, what's this firefighter doing? Like wearing something from like Project Runway.
I didn't get it either. He didn't wear any scarves around me. I don't know. Maybe it's super cold.
Now, we had I definitely had a strong reaction to Tala. Is that how you say it? Tala? Am I saying it right? Lay it on me. She's supposed to be the bitch of the season, right? She's the Omarosa. Just, I know it, you know it. I mean,
God, it's so hard for me to make these predictions. I mean, she's a big personality. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is like, first of all, she's such a fan of the show. I mean, I remember when I saw her at finals, I was scared for my life. I mean, clearly I am a nobody, and she jumped and screamed and hollered and like hands up and oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yep, yep.
Really, I just calmed down. It's all very funny. She is lots of energy, maybe even.
Oh, she'll be right back. It happens sometimes with the Wi-Fi
Big.
connection. There, you're back. You're back. We just missed it. We just missed the tail end of what you said about Tala.
Oh, I was saying that she has a little bit of Rachel in her.
Yeah. Oh,
oh my gosh.
Those are big words, Robyn.
Like,
those are big words.
Yeah, those are big words. Those are big. Just a little bit of that, like, so annoying. Do you love her or hate her? I mean, you know, my love for Rachel goes beyond anything.
Totally, 1 in a million.
And I mean, but she's a lot to handle, you know. And you always want someone in the Big Brother house who you would say, I could not imagine being locked in a house with that person. You know what I mean? Sort of like a Rachel.
Totally.
You like watching her, and it's great that you can turn her off and you can turn her on when you want to.
Totally.
And I think Tala has a little bit of maybe that sort of energy.
Now, I remember I saw a clip, or I think I saw an interview or something that Suzette did, where she's like, I'm here and I'm repping for the curvy girls. You know, like, could you cast a girl like Suzette on Big Brother US? You know, because I can't remember.
Totally.
Can you? Because I'm trying to think of an example, and I was hard-pressed to think of one like Suzette before.
Yeah, I have some examples, and I'm not going to say anything because
I get it. I get it. There's no need to like justify. I get it.
Absolutely, 100%, absolutely. And Suzette is good times. She is good times. She is not like some curvy sit in the corner gal. I mean, she is larger than life personality. She's going to be fun.
Alrighty. Moving on. Next, it is. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Peter Brown. Peter Brown.
Peter was one of my favorites during finals. He, you know, I'm trying to explain. Like, people always say, "What are you looking for when you cast?" And I always say, you can't put your finger on it, but there's something about someone that you want to hear them talk more. I don't know what it is. You're at a dinner party with a group. I always say you're at a dinner party with, you know, with 20 people you don't know. People are telling stories. There's usually one person who you love hearing her story. You like the way she talks or the way he talks, the inflections in their voice, what they say, they're excited, their facial expressions. And then the person next to him can tell the exact same story, and you're like, oh my God, please stop. This is the longest story in the entire world. Like, that has a lot to do with casting, is if I enjoy hearing them talk, if I'm drawn in, if I gaze away and I'm thinking about what am I going to have for dinner, or if I'm really listening to every word. And Peter was definitely somebody who, for one reason or another, and listen, he wasn't the nicest guy to me, which I sort of liked. He wasn't kissing my butt in any way. He might have even put me down a couple of times. Clearly, I'm not as smart as he is.
Right.
But there's something about him. I think he's going to be a great game player. I really like this guy.
I think so. I think he's definitely. I mean, you know, AJ, by the time you see this, you'll be like out of the house, so you're not going to hold it against me. But I got to tell you, like, it's going to be hard not to root for Peter. I mean, this guy is, like you said, reality gold. He's like the anti-Ian Terry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the other house guests warm up to him. He's not a warm guy, you know.
He can fake it though. But he can fake it, and I think that's the thing.
Will he be hugging people?
That's
and not meaning it. If he does that, it's sort of brilliant.
That's compelling television right there. That is like, because that's basically, I think, you know, it's a little bit of Dr. Will, don't you think? Where it's like, you know, nice to your face, but then like just cutting you to shreds in the DR.
Yeah, he's not as charming as Will. I don't think he's gonna be like flirting with the ladies like Will. But there is something that if he is, the best characters in Big Brother are the ones who are completely 100% honest in the diary
Yeah.
room. Whatever happens in the game is one thing, but of course Canada wants to know that they're in on the secret. And if Peter can do that right and make sure to let Canada know what he's really thinking and then play a different type of person in the house, if he can pull that off, it could be genius.
Amazing. This is a good time for me to just remind everybody to please hit the tweet button that's in your window. You can tweet that you are here with Robyn Kass in a very unique opportunity. I don't think I've ever done an interview like this before the season has started. So you can do that by hitting the blue tweet button in your window. We will be here for about another 30 minutes. In addition, reminder that on Sunday, forget about the Oscars. Who cares? Who cares about the Oscars? The Amazing Race is on. Episode 2. I have Brittany Fletcher and Caitlin King here. It's going to be blondes talking about blondes with a brown guy. Amazing. Robyn, next. What's that face for?
Nothing. It's just, blondes and a brown.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're talking
That sounds like Big Brother Canada.
Yeah.
So, okay, now, is it Liza Skinner?
Yeah.
Okay, now,
yeah.
The first thing I want to ask you about her is I can't shake this feeling. Like, she reminds me of somebody that I've seen in the States. And I was thinking maybe Laura Stein a little bit. But maybe not so much in terms of, like, personality, but the whole, like, they've got the whole, like, tanning thing going on. Am I just pulling this out of thin air, or did she remind you of somebody?
She does not have,
Yeah.
the boobs that Laura had.
Yeah. It's true, but
she's a wild card. She's definitely A-type personality. Will definitely get on some nerves. I think will try to work the guys hard. She's got a killer body, and I think that she will be flaunting it a lot. She's a wild card. I'm going to be interested to see how she ends up playing, but she's no dummy. She's a big fan. She knows the game.
Yeah.
And she is no wallflower. That's for sure.
It came out of nowhere. I did not think somebody like her would be a fan of the show.
Yeah, big fan of the show.
Yeah, that's very interesting. All right, next up we have Kat Yee. Now, athletic. But I don't know, Robyn. I got to be honest with you. I said this in my preview article. I don't feel like she's long for the game. I don't know why. I can't shake it. I feel like she's got, like, early eviction written all over her. I don't know why. I just don't know why.
Kat is a tough chick. And I think maybe the most athletic out of all the girls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and by the way, Kat is super hot. She is certainly, I don't think she's going to be using her sexuality in the show, but I think people have crushes on her. And I think that I'm trying to think of who she might play like. I mean, she's scrappy.
Like maybe a little bit of, not villainy, but like a little bit of Natalie Martinez, maybe?
Maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little flavor. Natalie was definitely scrappy, in your face, definitely not a pushover. I like people who flock to controversy. I don't think she's going to sit in the corner if people are fighting. I think she's going to get in the middle. And she's teeny, which is always sort of fun when the scrappy person is small. But I think that when it comes to physical competitions, I think she could kill it, especially with the girls and the guys.
Now we have Jillian, the substitute teacher from Nova Scotia. I can't get a read on her at all. At first I was thinking sweet. Now I'm thinking maybe not what I first thought. I can't read her. Kind of like a question mark.
Yeah, again, it's going to be interesting. I do think that Jillian is probably the most rootable. She's a teacher. She's a good girl. She looks very, we would say all-American, but clearly we weren't using that term when we were casting.
And you can't say all Canadian or people will think of like a Mountie or something. You can't use the term all Canadian.
like girl next
Right.
door.
Okay.
You
Yes.
know, like I think that and listen, she has some edge to her also. Um, but I feel like I think she might be the most sort of relatable out of the women, and just sort of girl next door, nice, sweet, but I don't think she's a pushover.
Is she just bait
I
for
don't think she's
showmances? Is she showman's bait? Uh,
I mean, I think there's a lot of
that
showman's
look
bait. I
says it
mean, she's
all.
cute.
That look says it all.
Listen, I'm all about it. If any of these people want showmances, I am thumbs up, 100%. I'm in. I
Uh,
hope it happens.
all right. Well, I'm not sure if he. I think he certainly thinks he'll get into a showman's. Gary Levy. What about Gary? What about the glitter? I think this is the guy that people are going to be talking about every Friday morning.
We had a lot of time talking about him. I think he's gonna be great diary room. I think I mean, he is what he is. If you look at the pictures, he's like the one guy who probably is exactly what you guys think from the pictures. He is fun, he is outrageous, he is a talker, he loves to jazz up his outfits and play dress up and glitter and makeup and hair and
Reminds me of Will.
we actually have
Will.
maybe a
No,
little of
a
Will.
little, a
Yeah,
little. Yeah.
maybe some boy like that, a little bit like Will. Yeah. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
love him. I would hang out with that guy. I would have a good time going to bar and just watching him, and he would entertain me. And I mean, I think he will be very entertaining on the show. I
And
hope.
just like as a personal like strategic question, like a guy like Gary always fascinates me in the context of the game because I feel like he's loyal. Like a lot of people look at Gary and they're like, "There's no way this guy's going to win the game." So if you were playing with Gary, do you think that like he's a like is he sort of like gossipy? Is he backstabby, or do you think that he's like I just can't get a sense of him. Like in a strategic game. What do you think about Gary?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to tell before they go in the house and they make
Yeah.
relationships, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
people, every
Well, how about
house
this?
guest
I'll
who's
put it to
entered
you
that
like
house
this.
is,
Would you align with Gary?
I mean, that's the worst question for me. That's the worst question for me because I love them all and I would align with all of them. I'm the horrible person
Okay.
to
Well,
ask these questions to.
that's a fair answer. I mean, that's
Totally. I mean, listen. At least I'd want to hang out with him. He'd be really fun in the house. I don't see why I wouldn't
amazing.
align with him.
All right, now here's the thing. Here's the thing, Robyn. Now, you know that I'm a big fan of yours. You know that I feel like you have the Midas touch. But you got to tell me a little bit about Emmett,
Okay.
okay? Because Emmett, I mean, I just feel like my binder paper, has a few more like lines than he does, as far as like character goes. So, what's
I
the
think
what's
the
this?
women across
Okay,
Canada
okay.
are gonna swoon over Emmett. He's a little bit of Hayden. He's a little bit of Jordan. He is a little naive, but trusting. I mean, and it's funny, I
That's
say Hayden
yeah.
and Jordan, and both of them won the show.
And trusting. I like
And
that.
I
I
think
like that
people
word.
will trust
I like
him,
that word.
and I think that he will be rootable.
Hmm.
I don't think he's gonna be one of those like lying schemers. He's a good guy, but he's a farm boy. He grew up on a farm. He has a tractor tattoo on his arm, and he's just a good guy, and he is as sweet as they come.
And you need fodder for other power players. This is what everybody always says. You can't have 15 people that are going to try and run stuff, because that's not going to be entertaining.
Right.
So, yes, I
Yeah.
like that word, trusting. Trusting is a great word to describe somebody. All right, Danielle Alexander, a.k.a. Emmett's girlfriend.
Might be. I
100.
wouldn't be
No
surprised.
question. No question about it. Well, so tell me about Danielle.
I actually think Danielle, for me, I think will probably be my other favorite diary room person. She's one of those people. I love her voice. It's a little raspy. I
Oh,
don't know if you heard a little bit of her
yeah.
interview. It's a little raspy, kind of sexy. Doesn't totally fit her, but when she tells a story, I mean, she's the girl at the dinner party that you want to hear her tell stories. She's funny when she talks. She has maybe a little bit of Britney in her. She's a little snarky, but she's funny and sassy. And I think in the diary room, people are going to want to hear what she has to say. And that's really important in casting, is making sure you get good diary room people for the show.
Is she more Danielle Donato dash Briones, or is she more Danielle Murphy?
Say it again.
Oh, do you hear that question? I can say it
Is
again.
she what?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I said, is she more Danielle Donato dash Briones, or is she more Danielle Murphy?
She's neither. She's neither of those girls
Perfect.
at all.
Ah,
Definitely not. No, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know if we've had someone like her. I mean, I feel like she has a teeny bit of Britney in her, because I think that she's just funny when she
see, I didn't
talks.
see
You
that.
know,
I
when
didn't see the
Britney was just
Britney. I didn't see Britney
naturally.
at all. So that's very interesting. I didn't think she'd be as good in the DR as you seem to think she is.
I mean, I'm hoping she is. In her interviews, I remember cracking up and just having a great time with her. And her not
Perfect.
laughing,
All
not
right.
really realizing she's as funny as she is, which is a quality I love.
All right. Now, one of my next picks for the winner. In fact, I'll be very honest with you, Robyn. I believe that this guy is the reason that I'm not on Big Brother Canada this season. Do I even have to tell you his name?
Tell me.
Anil. Anil.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna let you watch Anil and see if you think you are like him.
Well, I mean,
Definitely
yeah, maybe I'm just basing it on
super
on pure
smart.
physical appearance. Maybe it's just a pure physical appearance thing.
No, I mean, no, you're not on the show, Murtz, because you're not on the show.
It's okay. There's always season 2. No, but tell me about Anil in all seriousness. In all seriousness.
Um, Anil, you know, we have a lot of smart players this year, and I love I like that he is. I'm trying to think. He reminds me a little bit of Reagan, the way he talks. You know, very thought out. Everything that he does and says, his sentences are thought out. The way he says it are thought out. He's very put together, and even with the little bow tie like Reagan. Um, he definitely adds a different flavor. He's not like a huge A-type personality like everybody else. He's a good balance. I think he's going to be a thinker, and I always like players who, you know, here in US, in sequester before they go in, I tell all the players the same thing. Every morning you wake up, remind yourself that it's a game.
Right.
Tell yourself, this is what I need to do to further my game. It's very easy to, by day 3, think you're summer camp, you're having fun with your friends, and you forget. And I feel like Anil might be more of like a Daniel Reyes, who's one of my favorite
Yep.
Big Brother US players,
Yep.
who would always sort of remind herself, this is what I need to do to get ahead. And I think that Anil might be one of those
Yeah,
players.
I definitely. I mean, this guy has like Final Four written all over him. I would be stunned if he goes early. Stunned. Like he's the only one that I think is like a sure bet. Like if I was in a pool, this guy is definitely who I'm putting my money on. Sorry, AJ. Okay, next up is uh Andrew
Who's
Monahan.
left?
Andrew. The
Andrew.
old. I believe yes, he's the oldest, right? The oldest this season.
Yeah. I mean, I would be super happy if something happened between Andrew and
Yeah, I
Jillian. Like,
know.
I think
Yeah.
they're sort of counterparts. You know, I think there's a little bit of a Superman quality with him. He's a good guy. I don't think he's going to be a schemer. I think he's rootable. I think that people in the house will want to buddy up with him. I'm hoping that fans will like him. He's funny. He's silly. He's goofy, but he's good looking. And And I had a little crush on him during casting, so I hope he
Wow.
goes far.
He doesn't seem like your type, Robyn. I thought you like big, muscular, like fighters, not like dads that drive milk trucks.
Hey, you don't know my
All
type.
right. Well, next. Okay, wait. Before we get to the next one, reminder to everybody, including Robyn, you can tweet that you are here at the Murtz Show in one of our biggest episodes to date. You can do that automatically by hitting the tweet button in your window if you've logged in with your Twitter account. Sunday we have.
I don't even know how to do that.
All right, let's see if you
Let's
can
do
figure it
it.
out. But you got to like write text too. So you hit the tweet button, and then
Okay,
and
tweet.
then you can like write whatever you want in the tweet. You don't have to worry about actually putting the link in. You can just like write, "Hey, I'm here with the greatest interviewer. I'm here with like the brown wolf blitzer," whatever you want to say, and then hit the tweet button, and it should automatically appear. Hopefully.
Here now. All right, let's see what
Okay.
happens. Tweet. All right. Let's see if I did it right.
And then did it
Yay.
work?
I think so.
All right, wait.
I don't have.
All right, somebody in the
but I
chat room
think-
check Robyn's Twitter stream and tell me if it worked. And while I get an update on
Do it
the,
correct.
let's see. All right, so next up is, here we go, Alec.
Twitter.
Alec.
I'm curious to hear what the girls think about Alec. I don't think Alec photographs that great. But Alec is super hunky and has an insane body and is really smart. He's a medical student. I think he's gonna play sly, and I think he has a little bit more of a Dr. Will quality. I think he's gonna play all the angles, the guys, the girls. He's super slick. And I think he wants people to think he's a dummy. I'd be surprised if he says what he does. I don't know. There's no rule. I don't know if he's going to tell people that he's a medical student. But I think that people will have crushes on him for sure.
I think what was that guy's name on Big Brother 8? He was like in Kale's alliance with like Nick. I think his name was it Mike?
Mike?
Yeah, who was the name? What was the Anybody in the chat room help me out? Yeah, Mike. Okay, Mike. That's who he reminds me of. I know Robyn. It's been he like went super early, so I don't blame you for not remembering. But look up.
No, I know who. Yeah, I know who Mike is. Of course.
That's who I think Alec is. I think that he's just too strong. I think he's too much of a threat. He's like smart. He's good looking. He can like win competitions. If I was in the house, that would be the first guy I want out.
Interesting. That might happen. Yeah, and I just saw that Cat Lady said that Mike was quiet. Alec is not quiet. That's why I wouldn't compare. I mean, yeah, maybe they have similar looks.
Yeah.
Dark haired, good looking, but I don't think they remind me of each other.
Yeah, maybe he is a little bit more like Alex Caldonado, who I always thought got a bum deal. But yeah, I mean, I can see that comparison too. Okay. All right, here we go. Main event time. It is the main event. All of this was preamble, Robyn. Who cares about the other 14? Okay, they are all footnotes in what the story of this season will be. Okay, AJ Berman, I have to tell you, knows this game. I would say, 60% as well as I do. Okay, and I think that's being generous. Is there any way this guy does not win? I think he's just going to play these people like fools.
I actually don't even remember which one AJ.
No, Robyn, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. That's not funny at all.
I'm trying to picture him. I can't. I mean, to me, he doesn't stick out at all.
Oh, come on. No, you're killing the Murtz show right now. You're killing Scarborough right now.
I had a great time with AJ. AJ was, he knows the game. He knows the game. I think he is going to play smart. I think he is going to be one of the players who is not going to give up his hand to the other player. I don't think, which is going to be interesting. What do you think? Do you think that he'll form an alliance? Do you think that he will make people think he's in alliance with them, but not really? I mean, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
hope
I'll
that
tell
he
you.
shows us a great
Uh,
game.
I know he loves Chilltown, you know, and I know that like he loves the guys alliances, loves the brigade, loves, you know, like the horsemen and stuff like that. My biggest concern, Robyn, and I think that his downfall is going to be that he's going to align with the guys, think that like he's going to get, and I do think that that's a fundamental reality strategy. If you don't feel like you're strong, you align with strong people to win the competitions, you know? So
Right,
like
right.
I that's my only concern is that I feel like he's gonna round up Alec and he's gonna like, you know, we all know he's gonna align with like Murtz, I mean Anil. Okay, so he's already got Anil. That's written in stone. So it's gonna be Anil and AJ for sure. And then I feel like he might just bring in two other guys, and I think that's what's gonna hurt him. He needs girls. He doesn't need guys.
Waiting. Frozen.
Oh wait, am I frozen?
Yep. Okay, you just came back to
Frozen.
me.
Just give it 2 seconds. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Did you hear all of that, or should I
You
say it
good?
again?
I didn't hear the very end of
Okay.
it.
I will. I mean, basically, I think that he needs girls, and I think that my only concern is that he's going to go with the guys. But how do you? I mean, obviously, like we don't know how he's going to do. What do you expect him to do? Like, what stood out about him in casting? I'm fascinated to hear this because never in a million years did I think that the girl that was on my show like 3 years ago is now talking about my best friend who lives across the street. I feel like I'm in Bizarro world right now.
um, I mean, listen, this is going to be fascinating for me to talk to you through this process because as great as you think you know this guy, you're sure you've talked about Big Brother for years.
Years.
He knows it back and forth. You know how he's going to play. You know who he's going to align with. I'm telling you, you are going to be dumbfounded. And by week one, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? I can't believe this is happening. I mean, this is
It
my
is,
life.
yeah.
I mean, watching these people, trying to guess. I think I know how they're going to play. I think this is who they're going to align with. This is who they're going to like. This is who they're not going to like. And then you just never know. You never know when you're in that situation. It's so easy to get so paranoid in the
Mhm.
house, especially the people who know the show so well. It's one thing to be a viewer and we can watch the diary rooms and we can watch other rooms, what they're talking about, what they're doing. And it's like to be in that situation, paranoid gets the best of them. Are they talking about me? Should I be talking to them? What are they talking about? Should I be aligning with them? Do I trust them? Do I not trust them? That sometimes it just sends them in a whirlwind of what the heck are you
Yeah.
doing? I mean, there's always surprises. I can't tell you how any of these people are going to play because during casting, I don't lock them in a room with strangers to see how they're going to react. I talk to them as a person. I see if I'm entertained by them. We talk a little bit about game. We talk about life. And we kind of put it all together, but there's no way to see. I think he's going to be a little bit of a villain. I think he's going to play super smart. Who knows? He could fall in love on night one, and you and I are going to be like, "Are you
Tala,
kidding me?"
Tala.
Like,
Dude, he's gonna go for Tala. I thought you cast her specifically for him. I mean, it's just, the thing is, I know I keep talking about it, Robyn, but it's like, I've never been in this situation before, and others that I've met, in this whole, like, reality circuit, when I meet somebody's, like, best friend at a finale or something, they're always like, oh my gosh, it was, like, so tension-filled, like, when he was put up, I didn't know what we were gonna do, and this is the first time that I'm going to be in that scenario, so it's gonna be just, it's gonna be fascinating, and just to dispel any of the rumors, now, AJ and I talked about it, I think, very early on, before even the open call, and I said, oh, don't worry. I'm like, me and Robyn were like this. I'm like, that girl, she's going to see this purple hat. They might as well already put me in the title sequence. It's done. And so when we talked about this, he was like, well, do you think I should say anything, if you know her? And I was like, I don't think you should, because everybody's always going to say, oh, you only got on because you know Robyn. So, just to set the record straight, you had no idea that we knew each other at all.
We can even post the emails between me and you. You sent me an email 3 days ago saying, I think one of my friends is on Big Brother, and I was like, who is it? I have absolutely
Yep.
no idea. No one's gonna believe this. It doesn't matter. You and I can say it a million times. He never mentioned your name. I
Amazing.
never
That's
saw who he came to the interview with. There were 8,000 people at the Toronto Open Call, and I can't tell you the first thing about any of them until they came to finals. I don't know where you live, so it would have nothing to do with your address.
man.
And I never knew he never mentioned
That's awesome.
anything
No, that
about,
honestly, Robyn, that restores my faith in the casting process. Like I mean, everybody always says, "Oh, you'll never get cast if like you go to an open call." Open calls are a gigantic waste of time. And I feel like now that's definitely a lesson that I've learned is that they're not a waste of time. Now I can like personally attest to it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it's definitely not a waste of time.
all right. So,
And
oh,
I mean, I love that you have a friend on the show just so you can see what it feels like to watch a friend play the
it's going to
game.
be awesome. It's going to be awesome. All right, now I would be remiss, and I know we're going to take some quick questions before I let you go, but before we do, I would be remiss not to ask you for your prediction. I don't know if you want to give me one or how you want to phrase this, or if you want to give me a couple of names, but I cannot let you go without saying, like, Robyn, like, who do you think is going to win? Because at this point, you have nothing to do with it.
I know. I just can't answer it. In my heart, I do. With my staff, we've talked about it. I'm not going to put it
Okay,
out
that's
there.
fine. But you have to tell me off air because I'm personally dying to know. So you can tell that story we'll save for off air. Let's take some
Okay.
questions from Keith.
Okay.
Do you think that there's been more of a focus of getting recruits on the show than fans in the last few seasons?
More of a focus? Definitely not more of a focus. That's sort of a weird word. I don't start up casting saying we have to get all recruits on this year, or we have to get people who submit tapes, or we have to get people who go to open calls. Like you and I said at the beginning, I feel like the best people get on the show, whether they're recruited, whether they go to open call, whether they are submit a tape. And I will tell you, this is something that I think people surprises people is the people who we recruit, they have to go through the casting process just like everybody else. So if I meet someone at a bar and I think they're interesting,
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
say, hey, come on to finals.
totally.
I say, go online, apply, come to the open call. You're going to go through interviews. You're going to go through finals. You meet the producers. I mean, they go through the entire process just like anybody else in the process. It's not like I meet someone and stick them in the house.
Um, how come you? I love this question. I love it. How come you never cast any cat ladies on the show? There was a nice woman who was an alternate on BBK. Why no cat ladies, Robyn? Why no cat ladies?
I don't even understand what that means.
I don't know either, but I love it. It's my favorite question I think ever in the history of the show. Okay, how about this? Will you cast people on purpose that are good finalists, knowing that they will not get along in the hopes of fireworks between house guests?
Yeah, I mean, listen, part of the beauty of Big Brother is hopefully finding a group of people who would never hang out with each other outside of the Big Brother house. I mean, I think that's the beauty of finding different walks of life. You want A-type personalities. I mean, I want everything in the house. I want friendship. I want drama. I want showmance. I want yelling, and I want love, and I want laughter, and I want crying. So yeah, I mean, I want a little bit of all of that. So definitely people who are going to cause some trouble.
How do you think Anil will align himself? Money in the bank, AJ, period, end of statement. Robyn, I don't even know why I'm asking you to answer because I know you agree. Your eyes say it all already.
I'm going to go against you on that one. I'm going to say they are not going to be good friends.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there.
That is a bet.
There's my prediction.
That is a bet that I'm going to take. So we shall see who is right and who is wrong. Almost done. Just a couple more. What are the top 3 tips to tell a BB applicant in the applying process?
It's like a broken record. You guys are going to hate me. It's the same thing I say all the time. Be yourself. Don't rehearse things you want to say to us. Don't rehearse things in your audition tape. If we ask you a question, give us your truthful answer. talk to us like you talk to your best friends over a cocktail at a bar. We want to hear you talk shit. We want to hear you make fun. We want to hear the heartfelt side of you. If you come with generic words like, people love to say, I'm really, really nice, but if you cross me, you're going to see another side to me. Great.
I remember that when we did our thing. Remember? I totally remember you saying that.
Yeah, come with if you say you're that person, then my next question to you is going to be, great, tell me the last time someone crossed you and what you did. And then they'll go,
Yeah,
come with examples. You're going to say it. Have examples to back up what you're going to say.
Real quick now, running out of time. Robyn, do you see more positives or negatives about there only being one bedroom in the house? And just so you know, they have now released the interior of the house, so people do know that it's only one bedroom.
Yeah, and I've seen the pictures just like you guys. When I was in Canada, when I went to the house, it was just a shell, so I didn't even see how it was furnished and everything. I love it. I sort of love it. I think the fewer areas for them to be in, I always think creates more drama and excitement. I think it's a great idea. I love it.
And I think this might be our final question because I think it's a good one. Do you cast one at a time or wait and cast everyone after all the audition tapes are seen? I do think that's a really good question.
Yeah, everybody is cast after all tapes have submitted, all tapes have been watched, all open calls have been completed. We've done all of our interviews. Everyone comes to the finals. We meet those people. No one is cast until every person has been met and usually we don't even lock the cast until, a couple weeks before they move into the house. So no one's cast. I know people love tweeting stuff like, I've been cast on the show. No, they're liars.
Man, oh man. Well, now, Robyn, we always end the Murtz show with a challenge. And before we get to that challenge, this is everybody's final reminder to please tweet it out one last time that you are here with Robyn Kass. We have Brittany Fletcher, Caitlin King from The Amazing Race here on Sunday nights. Before we get to the Murtz challenge, Robyn, you know that now how weird is this, okay? I'm always at AJ's house. In fact, I practically call it my house. And now I feel like we're roommates in a weird way in the actual Big Brother house because he went in there a week after I finished the media day. Let me tell you, Robyn, I am going to release the video very shortly. You are going to crack up. You are literally you have not seen any game like this game, okay?
Can't wait.
I cannot wait for you to see it.
Okay.
And with that being said, I believe it's time for the Murtz challenge. Robyn, are you ready? We have quite a storied history here of Murtz challenges. We had Chelsea Hightower from Dancing with the Stars. She changed into outfits. We had JoJo doing hula hooping. My challenge for you, it's not so much a challenge. It's more like a desire that I've had for a very long time. I want to be followed on Twitter by Robyn Kass. So if it's not gonna happen, then just name some things that'll help me achieve this goal that I have. Okay, I like to win over the people that are very hard to win over, Robyn. And I feel like if I can get Robyn Kass, I can get anybody. Ashton Kutcher's next.
That is hilarious. I'm a tough.
I know. I'm trying to tweet about UFC. I'm doing my best to much about UFC.
I know. I follow mostly fighters. That's what. I like to sort of read about stuff that, as much as I love Big Brother, this is my job. This is what I do when I come in Monday through Friday. This is my job. I like to read the stuff on Twitter that has nothing to do with Big Brother. I like to read the stuff about things that I love. I like to gamble. I like to watch UFC, so I follow fighters. I like to hear about...
Okay, how about this? But you're not going to be able to see the Big Brother Canada episodes, okay? Now I feel like you might need some updates on what's happening with your northern babies.
Somebody said, hit the gym and join the UFC.
I don't know. It's definitely a goal of mine, Robyn. I'm not going to let it go. I'm not one of those people, okay? So the next time we chat, it'll be the exact same Murtz challenge. I'm already forewarning you. Okay, all right.
It's probably not going to happen soon, but I'll think about it.
I hate you, Rob. You're There's no wonder so many like rejected applicants call you the Ice Queen. Okay.
Hi, Jack.
All
I'm just
right.
reading the stuff. People are saying hi, so I said hi.
Amazing. All right, Robyn, I told you I was not going to keep you here a minute past 6 p.m., and I am a man of my word. Thank you so much for joining us. I think it's going to be a great season. I'm going to keep hitting. I actually have a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to watch Shark Tank, and while I'm watching Shark Tank, I'm going to keep hitting my refresh on my follower list.
Thank you, Canada. I love all the Canadian fans, and I love you guys. Thanks for all this time.
Robyn, thank you so much. We will talk to you soon. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Peace.
Take care. Bye, honey.